Hello YouTube, Scamp the Wolf here, back with another video for your viewing pleasure, and in this video we're finally going to talk about the new Chevelle album, Bright as Blasphemy, just came out, and these are my initial thoughts about it, and this is kind of an important moment for this channel, because the first album that I, listened to in full, back when I was doing the music listening night stuff, I don't do that anymore, but, back when I was, doing that. The first one was for Chevelle's last album, Near Tias, also known as Nothing Is Real. This is a Simulation. And coming away from that album, I thought it was a very good album. I thought they did a lot of interesting things with that album. And once again, they took a while to release a new album. They've had a label change. They're no longer on Epic. They're now on Alchemy Records, which is a independent record label. And they're also apparently under exclusive license to BMG Records as well. It's also part of it as well. So it's not completely independent, or it's not or whatever. But Alchemy is the label that they're on now. This is a debut for that label. It's a new label, and yeah, this is the album Bright as Blasphemy. And right off the bat, I will say this is definitely a Chevelle album for sure. It definitely has a lot of what you would expect out of a more modernized Chevelle album. I mean, if you like La Gorgola, which is one of the best of this era, hats off to the bull, you probably enjoy this really a lot. You'll probably enjoy this album, because there's just a lot of stuff in it that you will like. There's a lot of highs and lows in there mixed in as well. It's not nearly as experimental as Neurotires was, which yeah, it just feels like the band is going back to what they were doing with albums like North Corridor and stuff like that. And this kind of does have sort of the same vibes as North Corridor, but kind of its own thing. This is a self-produced album. They've Joe Barresi, which was the producer for the past four albums, it was encouraging the band to go fully producing it themselves with a different mixer. I think he's involved with another band. I don't know for sure. And it does feel unique, but at the same time, it feels familiar. And that's one very positive thing I can definitely say about it. I'm not nearly as impressed with this album as I was with Neurotires. And part of me was I was expecting to be sort of impressed, but at the same time, Chevelle doesn't really shift too far away from what they're known for. They're very comfortable with just playing the sound that they like, and their brand of lyric writing and stuff. They're very honed in on that, and that's definitely a good thing for sure. It's good to see them still sticking to it and doing it well, because there's a lot of bands that would be similar that kind of just trail off after a while. You like some things from them, and then they just gonna just plain off. Chevelle does a good job at trying to with the stuff that's very familiar to the average Chevelle fan, making stuff that's very, very good. I mean, there's obviously some patches here that are not nearly as impressive, like Wolves Love and Light, which again, a very good song, but this one is this is kind of basic. This is kind of what we've come to expect. Hallucinations is kind of an acoustic track that wouldn't be far off from Punchline, or the closing track from La Gorgola necessarily, but in the end, there's same thing with Blood Out in the Fields as well. I mean, the one thing I will say is that when the band goes more laid back, not nearly as heavy, it's not as interesting. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but at the same time, they are doing a good job. They have an atmosphere they're trying to build, especially with Blood Out on the Fields with that track. But it's not, it doesn't keep my attention as much as something like Rabbit Hole Cowards Part One, or even Part Two with that Jim Jones, or the opening track, even Pale Horse. I think that one starts this album off very well. I think they do a lot of that stuff very well. I do like Rabbit Hole as a single. I think it's very good Um, and a lot of stuff like towards the end of the album too, like AI phobias. I just really enjoyed that song. Like, and there is a lot of commentary in the lyrics about like AI and stuff with it, and like it's written very cleverly, like in Chevelle's sort of like style. And that's what I like about this track. And same thing with Shocked at the End of the World, which is the closing track. Again, very good stuff. Like it's very strong, like instrumentation. It's like very simple, like because lead vocalist uh, Pete Leffler, like thing is like he's not playing like technical riffs and stuff like while singing, like because that would be hard to do. Basically, he's like keeping it simple to where like he can perform these songs live and then like sing along with them. Like he's going with that, and he's done that like pretty much for the entirety of the band's existence, somewhat. But and yeah, it's definitely good. I mean, he simplicity can be a good thing, and like these riffs prove that very well. I think. Um, and yeah, would I necessarily say Bright as Blasphemy is like top tier Chevelle? No, not really. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything like I'm not gonna typically say that. I feel like this is like, in my honest opinion, slightly better than like albums like North Corridor, which is still a good album, but like is kind of one of my least favorites. Kind of slightly better than that, but not nearly as good as like a La Gargola or a Neratias, or especially not as good as a Wonder What's Next or This Type of Thinking. I mean, like those two albums are like unimpeachable in my opinion. They're unbeatable in my opinion. Like they are very like iconically good. Like very both of them are either near 10 or out of 10 or just like straight up 10 out of 10 in the case of Wonder What's Next. Even Venus Sarah I think would be like good throw in there as well as kind of like maybe their third best or like near one of their best, but like in general, Wonder What's Next and This Type of Thing and Could Do Us In are their two best, in my personal opinion. Like, there's no wrong answer when it comes to like those two, if you would rank. I mean, there's no wrong answer in general. Like, if you like a Chevelle album, definitely do it. But like, Bryce Blasphemy is definitely a pretty good album for sure. It's definitely one that is consistent enough. Like one critique I will say is it is kind of short for this out. It is 9 tracks, only 40 minutes in length. But I mean, like at the same time, you could look at it as not really a short album. But considering it's 4 years, you could have wanted something a little bit more. Um, I was actually a little worried because they didn't post the lyrics to two songs before, so I didn't know what to expect really from that. But it turns out they are full length songs, and they are pretty good songs at that. And yeah, I think this is a very solid album. I'm very confident to give this a light 8 for sure. No, not every one of my favorite bands gets a 10 out of 10. This is a light 8 in my book. So, and I'm very confident with saying that. So, yeah, I'm definitely looking to buy this on CD. I'm also getting the Amazon from Amazon. I am getting the vinyl. I don't know if they have this at a Barnes and Noble or whatever, but I am definitely gonna get the vinyl on Amazon. I think it's a cool looking vinyl for sure. And I need to get more Chevelle for the vinyl collection. So yeah, that's pretty much the extent of my review for Chevelle's Bright as Blasphemy. Next week we are getting a couple new albums out that I'm pretty excited for. 3 Days Grace's Apologies for sure. Like that would be interesting. And the big one for next week, Deftones, Private Music. Stick around for that. That one is going to be a doozy for sure. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. So what do you think about Bright as Blasphemy by Chevelle? What do you think of Chevelle in general? And what's your favorite album, least favorite album, song, least favorite song, all that kind of jazz. So leave it in the comment section down below. Of course, this is Scamp the Wolf signing out. Take care.